Treaty 10 News of Ipitawapia with Rekla Liberty in Sikasun. You got Mr. Gerald Jerry Greyeyes, Biuitap Megotia Taka Gopots. Dance Jerry.
Mananto. Cowitson, me go Cowitson. It's kind of cold out here this morning.
Well, the sun is coming. Then, Dipskokis na nagizitsakaya sinuti. So it's good for the fires. You want manohti
Yeah.
kaimuti no anos. But I just wanted to give our people a chance to get you to know a little bit better, Jerry. You're a radio broadcaster out of Atakago, right?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, I've been. I said my first good morning at Takakoop in November 27th, 2006.
Okay.
So I've been at her since then. On local radio here, of course, an affiliate with with NBC, but they changed the affiliation to a partner, a business partner, I guess so. Either way, still on the air, still broadcasting. A note today, we're having a smudge walk here in Sandy Lake at Takakoop. A bunch of elders and community leaders and program heads and students got together at the school, and they left 9 o'clock this morning and they went on a smudge walk. They walked through our two villages here at the south end of our lake. We got two villages in Sandy Lake, and they walked through the first village. I could see them from across the lake from my studio, and they circled the second village. And I'm telling you, Rick, it looks so beautiful. There's over 100 people walking, hundreds, walking right now. And they're praying for wellness for our community. And they're walking through the villages, not a healthy place for, I don't think, First Nation communities. We're not village people, it always seems that the dream is there to make a nice village, nice fences, good sidewalks, street lighting, kakyo, but it doesn't turn out like that. The crime rate rises, drug abuse rises, it seems, in our villages. That seems to be where we're the core of where we're getting a lot of these drugs, eh? So that's what they're doing now. They're walking through the villages. Of course, the entire reserve is praying hard here. We want to get wellness going on. Speaking of wellness, we have a holistic wellness center here. Now, I believe it is them that initiated this walk. They're hosting today an open house so that our community members can come in and meet the wellness team. There's a lot of great therapists that we've hired, and we're encouraging community members to come in. Fantastic door prizes, incentive, as well as a community barbecue taking place this afternoon. We've been trying to address these concerns in our community, but it's not that easy. So it's unfortunate sometimes you have to add incentive, such as door prizes and things like that. The community concern, of course, is heavy, and participation is pretty good. But who we want participating are the users, the people that are addicted. That's who we want participating in our programs. But the community's doing it right now, and it's always good when you do that. And we're hoping, of course, that some wellness will come out of this. They're having elders making, going to be addressing the crowd. Plus, they have former people that were trapped in their addictions, whether it be alcoholism or drug addiction or whatever nature of their addiction. They're going to be guest speakers this afternoon at this barbecue. So, and our Facebook is right now Atakakoop Wellness, Holistic Wellness got a Facebook page. It's being flooded with support. So it's like a seed, eh? Yeah. We're trying to plant here.
Oh, I just wanted to, congratulate you on your work that you're doing with communications, because this addictions is affecting all our communities, and the more the people know about it, the better we can address it. Especially gihtayak, when I look at meth, it looks like it's a poison. When you look at it's not a drug. People will say drug, will say medicine.
Yeah.
Mui ga pichu pundi tini gon man Jesus got in pahtama gach way no pahtini wichtasik iwihtagihtik. It's very easy to acquire, and it's very cheap, and it's very addictive. So they walked on stochtiga tiki gon magat igwa kachkamim wiga magi on go how to do the rehab and help these people through their hard times. I have to congratulate you. It's not available to everybody, and the
Mhm.
efforts that your leadership and your community are doing. Uh, when I spoke to you in Prince Albert, you spoke about an initiative that you guys adopted from somewhere. What was you had a name for it?
There's so many things here now. I'm trying to remember which initiative that was. It was most likely to do with we were inviting other elders in from
Yeah,
other communities to come into our reserve, and that's actually going on. We have meetings about once a month, I believe we're having them now. And Mr. Oasis send their elders, Big River First Nation, the surrounding communities here are sending their representatives and their elders because our problems are exactly the same. And we're looking for. I think the more we reach out for resources, that's what we are to each other. We're each other's resource. And boy, I'll tell you, there's some powerful words spoken that may change a person's life. And so it's always good to have other communities involved, because you do become in your own community, there's a mindset. And that it's like any community, small community has their little mindset. You need a broader perspective than that. You need other communities to come in and offer their input. That way you're getting more information instead of bouncing the same information around back and forth amongst us. We all talk ourselves blue in the face, but action is what's required. And action now is what they're looking at. Real hard action. You know that word tough love. Eh?
yeah,
Well, of course, we love our people and we love our children, even though they may be addicts. And sometimes we have to apply that tough love in order to prove that we love them. We don't want to lose community members. We don't want to kick anybody out. We don't want that. But we're looking at all sorts of options. What can you do? You want to BCR somebody off the reserve, ban council resolution, it's what it's called. But again, that requires an awful lot of thought and decision because you're not only affecting that addict, that's their family, their children, their grandchildren, their relatives, their friends, brothers and sisters, on it goes. We're a family, we're a community. So, let's put it this way, Rick. We're looking for an answer, and we are hoping for a miracle. Some wise words or something to change the flow, to change the pace, to change the topic. Instead of lamenting our sorrows, we should be shouting our acclamations about the good things we're doing. We shouldn't be dwelling so much on the negative things that are happening because that's all we're doing. We're talking negative things that are happening all the time, and there's no forward progression about the good things, the wonderful things. We're not. I don't think we're giving enough kudos to our achievers out there. These are the ones that they've battled with addictions, but they've overcome them. And these are the people we want to hear from. Those that have escaped, I guess, this cycle. And you all hear about the residential schools and its generational trauma. We've all heard that. We all know that that's certainly a part of it. Magaisekse, I know let's start today to change the dialogue, to a more hopeful, inspiring, go get them, let's do this, instead of lamenting on our past.
yeah.
I don't know what.
Your words are echoing Ahkamimuin comes to mind. And yo iniwan Ahkamimuin muy giam gagituan. Giam gaitin, it's you're indifferent. Muy
Yeah.
pion kai saga hitawiyak, but Kahkamimutatamin, you gotta nurture puta tohpige het talk to us sak, but these addictions we on swini puta hito. And ni timagina one but a way out. You got a path out, and there's people, making that trail.
Rick, at my job here, I surround myself with wellness. Books like this. I've got The Seven Fires. It's a book by Danny Musquat, Teachings of the Bear Clan. Earth Elder Stories, Alexander Wolf. I've got many others. I've got Tamara Star Blanket, powerful book here that she gave me, Suffer the Little Children. And I use all these books, Dreams and Maps, looking for ancient wisdom and trying to apply it to today. And I'm surrounded by wellness books, and there's something to be said about these books because in there I find a lot of answers. Sometimes I'll come here and I know there's a situation out there in our community that really needs addressing. I will just ask Creator right here in my studio, help me with the, how to help these people out there. Right? And so I'll grab a book and I'll flip it open and I'll start reading. And it seems to say right there what I was asking Creator, what I wanted to say but couldn't, didn't know how. But somebody knew how to say it. Resources, eh?
Pues. Tena toki webi na takam gano magait in gapagamskago addictions and he michata apatista to sunyakatako. It's an industry, it's an economy
right.
for people. And then the security of that, gangs apatihogina to protect that investment gaitutako. But the other dangerous one that ipihtamahuti is human trafficking.
Oh boy.
Awas suck or squeeze suck not be suck. Yatawagi dog it's 60 and it would need those are international rings epatistigati gomina so Pisto tu van papistino nistanano ti papagam but we hear about human trafficking and the effects. It's not a big city issue. These little villages are
they're cruising around the reserves
by.
now. Just today, be careful of this. It said on Facebook, oh yeah, predator. He's trying to pick up kids, and they had a license plate. They took a picture, but this is happening more frequently around here. There's a white van out there. We don't know where they're from. They're foreign country, but there's some 2 or 3 of them in this, and these vans don't have windows, and they're stop and grab, and this is really going on right now. And even in our communities, we have a watch now, to relay watch. If you see something, we'll phone all the other exits, people that are connected. Watch out for this one, watch out for that one, so you can try get a feeling of where these predators might be going. Same with Mistawasis, same with Muskeg, and we need to establish a line of communication that we can just like those drones. Yeah. But we need to establish a line, eyeballs on these guys. Okay, they're driving down. Right now they're heading down Lovers Lane that way, towards Highway 3. Somebody over there sees them. Yeah, they're on Highway 3 now. They're heading north. We need something like that, network.
No, that's good ideas, Jerry. Today, we have to protect these young ones and these, as you said, predators. We just we got to take care of them. The other thing I wanted to
just one second. Excuse me. No yeah, problem. Okay. Somebody was knocking on my door here.
No, I just wanted to kind of switch the topics a little bit with the fires. It's the smoke that's really hitting some of our young people and old people with the asthma and with the weakness immune system. Mm-hmm. It is a health impact. So, there's some air scrubbers that some of the community centers are putting up, and some people are buying home air scrubbers as well. The air. So, what?
I don't even know what that is. You know, air scrubber.
Yeah, it's an air purifier. It's like a big
Oh,
air conditioner. It takes in
okay.
the air. There's a HEPA filter to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have one of
And then
those at
it
my
tries to
house. I
give you
didn't even
fresh
know what
air
it
on the
was.
other side. So
Yeah.
it's one way to stay shelter in place. Because like we said with the fires, some of these evacuations, Manitoba and Gipihtin, and I think Montreal Lake were impacted. Awas Sagi Spuhtahi taught Saskatoon or the big city,
Yeah, yeah.
Winnipeg.
Never a good thing. Yeah.
And some of those picked up addictions in Sabinaguta. So there's
Some of them never
predatorial,
come home.
yeah, there's some of those predators work in that way as well. So that's the other part we have to be careful with these evacuations is you have to take care of your family's koyes.
You know, Rick, speaking of fires now, back in 1960s, about 1964 or 65, I remember our community got upset that time because I'm not sure what they called it that time, DNR or what, Department of Northern Resources, or what it was called back in the 60s. But they came here. We were fighting our fires around here, right? But they were fighting them at night.
Yeah.
The elders said that's the only way to put them out. You fight these fires at night because the wind rises in the day and all of that. You know, the right way to do it. They said, my guys, the department in the government stepped in and said, no, you can't do that because of insurance and it's too dangerous. And I remember the elders being frustrated at that time. And then how we're going to put them out? They said the only way to fight these fires is put them out at night. You can see them, you know, and men knew their jobs and their risks they were taking, but they knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's an example of since 1960, 64, 65, fires were not allowed to be fought at night. And so let burn policy, that's the one that got me. You know, I think of the animals, the deer, the moose, the beaver. I think of all the I think of the eggs, the birds, you know, everything like that. The medicines, the burning up, let it burn. You know, so things have changed. I don't know what the answer there is, how to fight those fires, you know.
I think you're back to
We,
the
we, we train a lot of people here. Right now, in fact, we're training. We have different modules of training going on out here right now for firefighters. We got structural firefighters, we got brush firefighters, and right now they're taking training in the different modules in those aspects. So we're sending out a lot of people for training. You know, just try what we can, I guess. Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's what we hear and see up here as well. The whole firefighting initiative has changed. I don't even see smoke jumpers now. We used to have a team of smoke jumpers that 24/7 they were ready to jump into a fire and put initial attack. Because
That's what I was.
if you let
When
it
I was a
burn,
young man, I was initial attack. They drop us off at a flare up,
yeah,
5 of us, and we'd put it out right there. And then they'd
that's
pick us
right.
up,
Yeah.
take us back to base camp. Yeah, they don't do that now.
No, they don't do that. This fire over here called Shaw Fire started
Yeah,
close to Dillon, but it was away from the villages, but it took
yeah,
off. It went to Buffalo, it went to Alacrosse, it's on its way to
yeah. Oh,
Frontenac,
yeah.
and it's one fire. And the one by Pine House, it's a bunch of fires joined together as well. So these fires are still out of control here, Jerry. So I
Oh
think
man, yeah. The
our
smoke quality up here is really bad right now.
I think what you guys are doing with the training, that's where we got to
Yeah.
go. We got to train our people and we got to respond in our way. That's what we
Yeah,
learn.
that's what it is. Give it back to us. That's our environment, Machi. We know how to handle it. We don't need outsiders to come in. You know, they're flying these firefighters in from Poland for crying out loud.
Well,
You know?
Sagawinuk, right? When you say the people of the bush, I've flown
Yeah.
from Oval all the way to Saskatoon and I look at the forest. It's connected all the way. Big River, Whitefish, Atakago, Mistawasis, and then it starts dying out by Muskeg Lake. Muskeg Lake,
Yeah,
Bloody
yeah,
Lake, that's where the forest kind of stops, but the
yeah.
intact forest, you're still a part of it.
That's right, and that's part of our livelihood, eh? And to me, that's a sacred place, eh? The bush. That's where I get my healing. And it's not just me. Generations of people get their healing from the land. And I'm talking about healing from my own addictions, healing from my own troubles and issues. The land gives me that. When I go out on the lake, when I go out in the bush, I get that healing from the earth, from the ground. And then now I go and you see what's been given to waste in this let it burn policy. I want to cry, because my Mother Nature. I wrote a song a long time ago called "Wake Up Red." Once God in hill, open your eyes now. We're being pulled the wool out of under our feet. We're being taken away all our resources left and right. Even us in our to change the subject here, treaty land entitlement.
Yeah.
Now I'm told this, eh? Well, yeah, okay, you can go look at that land, but just wait. Government wants to go see if there's any minerals there first before we agree to give you that land. What the heck's that? That's how we're treated still today. Give us a chance to grow up and let us govern ourselves.
That way.
Well, I'm telling you, I get pretty riled up at my job, but I'm pretty good at keeping calm because as a broadcaster, Rick, I feel I have a responsibility to my listeners out there. And sometimes my mood can affect the people out there, their moods, eh?
That
I
way.
can affect their moods. So realizing that I have that power, I don't play with it. I think really seriously. And I always, 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 always pray before I go on air, eh? Because once you say something on air, you own it, eh?
That
and
way.
you don't want to. I'm proud to say, Rick, in 18 years I've been on the air, I never got one negative phone call yet. So I'm proud of that.
Well, that brings us to our next topic I wanted to discuss with you is technology. I know you're using FM radio and probably planning on streaming unless you're streaming live on internet.
No, that's what I was looking at asking administration if we could go that next step now. I just recently required my mobile, Rick. I didn't have mobile abilities until just recently. And I've been asking for years. Finally, Pippin came out and brought me all the stuff I need. So I'm good to go mobile now as far as broadcasting in the community. But I mean, I get so many calls from around the world. Why can't you be streaming online, eh? And I don't see why not. So I've been addressing our administration here on the band to look into it and try get in on that. But there are so many things going on right now. I'm having a hard time getting my time in. Eh? Like
Well, the other
I'm
one,
busy all the time.
when we met in Prince Albert, when they were launching that portal or the server, they
Yeah,
called it for the
yeah.
Indigenous broadcasters of Saskatchewan.
Well, love that.
We will once we get that operational. I think your words and your stories, we can share them over here. Like we listen to Chiboy when he's
Yeah,
streaming.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we'd love to hear from your programming as well.
And I was just talking to Belinda Nelson. Of course, she was an integral part of our radio station. It was her that took the communications training enough to the point whereas she was able to establish our radio station out here. All kudos to her, of course. And so I spoke with her just the other day about it, and so we're going to sit down together and see if we can start streaming too. Because I'm in 18 years on air. I mean, come on, I've paid my dues.
Yes, you're ready. I can't wait to hear your programming. Well, the other one I wanted to touch on a bit is languages. Nihiawiwin and
Mm-hmm.
preserving our language. And you're sharing those stories. And sometimes you get the essence of those meanings. So
Yeah.
but is there any messages you'd like to give on language preservation or the power of language? That's
Darn tootin'. For one thing, my mom and dad were told not to speak Cree to me as a young boy, so they didn't. Um, I caught my Cree listening to elders and their stories, but it wasn't spoken to me at home. I don't know why at that point in time they were trying to take away our language at that time, and they did effectively. So I lost my language and I had to relearn it. I
Mhm.
can understand when you speak to me, but I can't speak as fluent back to you. And I do try. And like a lot of people that are trying to retain their languages, don't be shy about making mistakes. And it's okay if you do, because there's always learned people that know the language that will help you along. And I know this for a fact: our language is our culture.
Yeah.
Without our language, we are a culture lost, completely lost. We might as well be the Botak people if we have no language, and our children are learning it in school. That's the beautiful thing. It's starting in our Head Start program. These are kids ages 2 years old and up. We have what's called Cree for Tots. And we have that at our Head Start program, and it runs twice a week now. And we have Big River Cree come in and they sing for the kids, you know, and then they invite the community to come in too, come and share with us and watch us, and it's so awesome. These little kids, they're learning Cree. When I walk to work in the morning, uh, sometimes I'll go out at 9 o'clock just to listen to the school over the school monitor. A little kid speaking in Cree, saying the Our Father.
Yeah.
And that to me is beautiful. It's coming back, eh? I was suck. They're speaking Cree. I mean, and I didn't get that when I was told I was to get hit on the knuckles when I spoke Cree, in school. And that's a true reality. They took that away from me, and it makes a person cry, because you need your language. It's the base of who I am, my language. My dad told me that, it's your language that makes you who you are. And the reality is, a person could learn syllabics in about 2 or 3 months, and they'd have their entire language, because it's all in there. Every phrase and nuance and of the language is there. Learn syllabics. My father taught that. I was too busy being a badass kid. I wouldn't learn. I took off doing my own things. I missed out on that gift, learning syllabics. Otherwise, I'd be speaking fluent Cree to you right now, Rick. And I was fortunate in later life. Two elders adopted me, women, two old women, and they never spoke English to me for 2 years. So I was pretty fluent in speaking Cree, and they've been gone for a number of years now. But I'm so grateful to them. They only spoke Cree to me, and I wanted to say something too about language. Uh, Back when we were young, and when that was taken away from us, I know that hurt my parents. And I think now about the late Frida Ahenekyu Greyeyes Ahenekyu. Frida only had a grade 5 education, and she was left with 12 kids, and on a farm. And that she knew she had to do something. So she got on a bus and she went to elementary school with her grandchildren, started grade 5. She went grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, all the way. She graduated grade 12 with her grandchildren. And then she went on to university. Then she went on to become a professor of linguistics. Then she went on to write 34, 38 books. And she wrote books in syllabics. And it's all about language preservation. Frida Heneke Greyeyes. I'm so proud of her. She's my first cousin. And it was her that said to me, "You're never too old to go to school." So,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
Nista, she was my professor at Nortep in Larange. She
yeah.
taught me how to write syllabics. I never learned until from her.
My dad taught her how.
Oh, what a connection.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
So I mean,
yeah,
there is the gem and the jewel of language preservation, Frida. You know,
yeah.
People just read her story. They'll know the importance of our language. And now all of her children and grandchildren speak it. I've got that one too here somewhere. Yeah, I have that. I have pretty well all her books here too. But
No,
yeah,
no.
I mean
Well, the
that's
other
good
one
stuff.
I'm gonna go full circle along with language, culture, and what brought us together, Jerry, was music.
That way.
Music, yeah, that's you have a
That's how
gift in music and also songwriting. What would you like to share on this music world right now?
well, I can tell you this: we're all born with music. We're all born with it, and there's music in the morning when I get up. Bird song. You ever listen to those guys sing in the morning? Each and every bird out there has their own song, and they can sing more than one. And you have to be observant and you have to listen. Eh? Like in my case, I will tell you that when I was growing up the hill and away from me a little ways, there was guitars in that house, about 4 or 5 guitars, and these people they drank and they partied. I snuck into the tall grass behind their house there, and I'd lay there under the grass and I'd listen to the guitar. And I loved the sound of a guitar. And one morning, that guy saw me laying there. He said, "Jerry," he said, "What?" I got caught there. "Come here," he said. I've noticed you there quite a bit. He said, "Every time we're playing guitars, you come and hide there." I said, "I love the sound of the guitar," I told him. "Well, come here," he said. And he put my fingers on that guitar in an E chord. Eh? And so now I was holding a guitar. I was only 11, and I was holding a guitar, and I had an E chord, and I strummed it. Holy crow, that was magic to me. So I walked home. I said, "Can I borrow your guitar? I want to go show them at home I can play guitar." "Yeah, you be careful, boy, don't you?" I got the biggest lecture on my life about the importance of caring for your instrument right there. So I walked. I treated that thing like it was a baby. I got home and there was nobody home, Rick. Nobody was home. Mom and dad were gone. My siblings were gone. So I sat on the step for 5 hours holding E chord. Finally, now my sister got home. I strummed that guitar once. "Look, Karen," I said, "I can play guitar." "Hey, get out of here." She just brushed me aside. But then that was lesson one, okay? I'm going to learn for my own enjoyment. Lesson number two is this. I was 12 years old now, and I was singing Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, Hank Snow, Hank Williams, Buck Owens, all of those guys. And I could sing their songs, eh? Mostly all of Merle Haggard album I could sing. And Lawrence Joseph at that time, Dr. Lawrence Joseph, I might add, at that time, he was with his band and he was popular and playing everywhere. And, I used to love going to watch him play, and I loved watching him sing. All of a sudden, one day, Arnold Henneke come to my house. I was 12 years old. He come to our log house in Sandy Lake there, and he said to my mom, "We want to know if Jerry can come and sing for us at a dance. Lawrence is sick. He wasn't able to make it, and we don't have a singer." My mom looked at me, and I looked at her, and she said, "You want to?" I said, "Yeah, I want to." Okay, so they took me. So I ended up singing my very first dance, 12 years old, at the Canwood Elks Hall, and I sang, and I had fun, and I sang a few more songs, and I sing some of them, over and over again. That night, when he dropped me off at home, he handed me a $50 bill. Now, you got to remember, this is 1970, eh? Like $50 bill, 12-year-old guy. That's big money. Why, I couldn't believe it. I don't think I'd ever even seen a $50 bill or held one. I walked into the house. I said, "Mom, look, it's the last I saw that $50 bill." "Oh, right on," she said. "That'll buy you lunch for school, get you some socks, and get you." There went my $50 just like that. Eh? But now I knew I can get paid for this. And always being too lazy to work and too scared to steal, it was perfect for me. Eh? So I started singing for a living. But I was wise. I'd come home, I'd get paid. I'd take a few of those out and I'd put them in the old sock. And then I'd show my mom, "Look what I made." More lunch money, more. Eh? But that's how I learned. And I was 14, and my sister Wendy bought me a guitar. And so I started singing around at 14 years old, really, really giving her and singing all over the place. I was being asked to sing here, sing there.
my young teens, I started winning some talent shows. And one of the best time I ever had in my life was at the Beauval Jamboree. And Rick, you were there, and I sang at a talent show. I was also asked to MC. So I MC'd the talent show. I entered the talent show, and I won. I got paid $500 to MC. I won $500 for the best male vocal artist. $1,000 night for me in Beauval that night. And I got to listen to some great music. I forget who was there that time, but some wonderful act. Oh, Headhunters, Kentucky Headhunters.
Oh,
yeah. So your community, Rick, your community, and a lot of northern communities. I speak, though, really, especially from Beauval and Isle Cross area, Buffalo, the musicians. Wow. Incredible. Even the music culture was different from what we were listening to down here. When we started listening to you years ago, to Isle Cross and that, when you guys were, NBC was broadcasting. So whenever I went up north, the first thing I did was cruise through the radio stations, try find local radio. And you guys were playing stuff that we weren't even hearing. I hadn't even heard of Matt Minglewood, and he was singing in your community, Yeah. I mean, stuff like that. Rick, those days we didn't realize it then, I don't think.
No.
But those were innocent, good, fun days. And there was a lot of sport involvement. People were involved in sports. There wasn't a big thing with addictions back then. Alcoholism, we dealt with that. People smoked a little bit of pot, but it was not like today. I miss those days, Rick. I really do. And as far as music goes, I want to record. I've never really recorded. I wrote the theme song for the Museum of Civilization. That was recorded over there in Ottawa. And then, of course, I did the North American Indigenous Games. Never did find that video, by the way, that we did for Much Music. It was done down in Dark Hall in Regina. And Royal Bank was the one that financed that video. And I also wrote for the Mohawk people that Wake Up Red, that time when the Mohawk uprising was going on, they asked me for a song. So I've been, I still love playing guitar. I still write songs, and but I slowed down. This radio station sort of stopped me, kept me busy. I'm still surrounded by music all day long here, so
well,
it works out.
Keeping on that music tradition, Atakagof has a well-known band, Black Rain.
Oh man, yeah, doing good.
Brent Pichikut, also Sean with the fiddle in
oh man, young fella too.
And maybe just talk about them and what they're doing right now, just to give us an update.
Well, I'm really, really proud of those guys, of course. Black Rain, great band. They consist of Jamie Pichikut and his brother Ryan, and they have Lawrence Joseph's son plays bass for them. Very accomplished, of course. Everybody knows Kevin Joseph. He's just a fantastic bass player. So that's a three-piece band, and they often borrow from your community. They use some of your artists once in a while on their gigs, and they're doing musically. They've got a new one out, and I forget the name of it right now, but he just sent it to me on my private email, so I can play it locally, sort of debut it locally here before it goes on NBC. Okay. But it should be being released pretty soon. I can't tell you the name of it just offhand. But the other thing, though, with Ryan, he's an entrepreneur as well. He started a drive-in here, drive-in movie. This was during the COVID thing going on, He started a drive-in, a diner. He used their old tour bus. I'm running out of battery power here. I'm down to 5%.
Okay.
And he also started a driving range. So next time you come through Atakakoop, you make sure you come and we'll go check him out. And it's a beautiful, beautiful area up on the highest hill in Sandy Lake. It's a drive-in. It's a breakfast diner. They got a deadly breakfast burger there. They call the big, what's it called again? It's a good one. You got to come and see it. But yeah, I'm fading out on you now.
Okay, no problem. Well, we'll just wrap it up. We covered a lot of topics, but I think we got to talk again, Jerry. I think you'll be a regular on Treaty 10 News, giving us a pulse of Atakago.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And I love the fact that you give me a call and allowed me to talk to you and of course all the people in the north. I miss them dearly. I enjoyed entertaining for them for years, you know, and it would just be nice to connect again.
That way, it was great to talk to you. And we're just in closing on the sports world. I know Fred Sasakamoose is probably celebrating over there, but seeing Las Vegas win last night on the Stanley Cup, we can't say enough.
See my book here?
Fred Sasakamoose, he's been an inspiration for many people. And Brian Trottier also wrote the forward to that, and you know, a 7-time Stanley Cup winner with a Métis boy from Val Marie. But any closing comments just on the Fred world?
Well, I'm you know what? They almost shut my radio station down one time. They said there was no funding. It was Fred Sasakamoose that said, literally, bullshit. He said, you're not taking Jerry off the air. He said, we'll get money from the other programs, whatever we have to do, you find the money. He saved my position here. And they found the money because the Senator Fred Sasakamoose demanded they keep me working. And he was a supporter of mine, real strong. And of course, I loved him dearly. And I've been speaking highly about, you know, this is a fruition of his dream. 2 Aboriginal players facing off against each other in a Stanley Cup final. That is because Fred opened those doors, you know, directly because of that. So yeah, very proud of my late Senator Fred Sasakamoose, friend, and he was a good friend and a good mentor. That's what I can say.
Well, he knew the power of your voice and the messages to your people. And also, when people are driving by Canwood, Debden, in that area, what FM station are they looking for to listen to you?
104.9 FM. Keep it locked on there. It should be around this side of Big River and this side of Shellbrook and this side of Blaine Lake. I'm trying to get more hertz out there. I think